Sometimes proving you're dead is easier than proving you're alive. Attorney Lena Hart paused for a second as she scanned the name on the morning's case file. Nathaniel Price, a black man, reportedly killed in a car accident 5 years ago. But today, a major insurance company was reopening the file, accusing him of still being alive. Recent property transactions and strange account activity suggested someone was living on in his name. Or maybe he never died at all. Lena presented the case to the court. Opposing her was Prosecutor Maxwell, a sharp-tongued man in his 60s with cold, narrowed eyes. Every word he spoke sounded like it was weighed down by disdain. "Your Honor, this is clear insurance fraud. The man is dead. We have the certificate, the autopsy, the burial report. Then who's purchasing real estate in his name?" Judge Eleanor Grant removed her glasses, and without looking at Lena, asked, "If your witness is alive, what exactly is he going to testify to? His own death?" A few people in the courtroom chuckled. Lena stood tall. "Your Honor, today we're not just questioning a man's identity. We're questioning a system. If there's any chance this man is still alive, the real question is, who did we bury?" Just then, the courtroom doors creaked open. A middle-aged black man in a black overcoat walked in, calm but certain, his eyes locked on Lena. Whispers filled the air. "Is that Nathaniel?" But he was declared dead. "They can't explain this." The man spoke, his voice steady. "My name is Nathaniel Price, and I am very much alive." The room froze. The judge slammed her gavel. "Order! Verify this man's identity, immediately." But Lena was no longer focused on that. A chilling question echoed in her mind. Then who was in that casket? Sometimes a death certificate isn't proof of death. It's permission to erase a life. Inside a cold, cramped record room filled with steel cabinets and stale air, Lena Hart pulled on a pair of gloves. In her hands was Nathaniel Price's death file. On paper, everything checked out. Time of death, cause, burned beyond recognition in a vehicle fire, coroner's signature, even witness documentation. But one detail stood out. There was no DNA confirmation. The body's identity had been verified only through dental records and charred personal belongings. Lena quietly muttered under her breath, phone recorder still running. If this document is valid, then Nathaniel is dead. But if the man walking into court today is really him, then either this report is forged, or... The archivist looked over at her and hesitated. "Strange thing is," he said, "a few days before Nathaniel's reported death, an unidentified homeless black man disappeared in the same area. Wasn't logged officially, but the incident is still in our internal notes." Lena's pulse quickened. What if Nathaniel did die, and someone took his place? Or worse, what if he faked his death and buried someone else's? The truth wasn't in the paperwork. It was buried and waiting to be unearthed. During the court recess, Lena Hart drove to Harlem, once home to Nathaniel Price. The neighborhood was alive with color, vibrant murals on brick walls, jazz music echoing from corner stores, old neighbors greeting each other like family. Yet, for the past few years, something had been missing. Nathaniel. She stepped into a small corner shop. An elderly man behind the counter removed his glasses and squinted at her. "You a lawyer?" Lena nodded. "I'm here about Nathaniel Price." The man's expression changed. "I knew him. Good kid. Heard he passed. Then someone came around. Looked like him, but it wasn't the same. Even the way he said hello was off." Lena pulled out 2 photos. One from Nathaniel's high school yearbook, the other a recent ID photo of the man sitting in court. "Which one do you recognize?" The old man didn't hesitate. He pointed. "That one. The first. The other guy? I don't know. Too polished. Too rehearsed." Lena continued asking around. A woman nearby recalled the funeral. "I was there. His mother cried the whole time. They showed us the watch they found in his pocket. It was definitely his. Maybe it wasn't his body, but it was his life in that casket." Lena's heart skipped. "So, the body wasn't recognizable?" The woman nodded. "Face was gone. Burned beyond recognition. But that watch, we knew it was Nathaniel." That same watch was now gleaming on the wrist of the man seated in the courtroom's witness stand. And in that moment, Lena's mind pieced together the impossible. If someone stole his past and his watch, maybe they stole his entire life. A lie doesn't smell when it's told. It reeks when it's avoided. The second day of the trial had begun. Nathaniel Price was still seated in the witness box. Calm, too calm, composed to the point of suspicion. Lena returned with new evidence. But Judge Conrad Heller looked less interested in the case and more at Lena herself, as if scrutinizing her skin rather than her argument. Prosecutor Rosenthal took the floor. Loud voice, loaded tone, verdict practically pre-written. Mr. Nathaniel Price, tell us, why do you think people believed you were dead? Nathaniel smirked, ever so slightly. Maybe being forgotten is easier than being remembered. The courtroom stirred with murmurs, but Lena rose slowly from her seat, walking to the center with a document in hand. Your Honor, I have here a verified copy of Mr. Price's death certificate. According to this, the body was unrecognizable, yet identified solely based on a watch found in the pocket. Judge Heller adjusted his glasses, unimpressed. His tone oozed dismissal. Ms. Hart, this isn't a murder trial. This is about insurance fraud. You're not accusing this man of a crime, are you? Lena didn't flinch. I'm not accusing anyone, Your Honor. I'm pursuing the truth. Because if the man sitting here isn't Nathaniel Price, then who is he? And where was the real Nathaniel all that time? Jury members began to shift. Eyebrows lifted. Rosenthal interjected with a venomous twist. This woman wants you to believe a black man can't be innocent. Gasps echoed. Silence followed. Lena's voice sliced through the tension. Number. What I'm suggesting is that some people are accepted without question, just because they're black and no one bothered to look closer. The judge slammed his gavel. Enough! Lena handed the document to the jury. Then, a screen lit up. It showed security footage from the day of Nathaniel's funeral. Among the mourners walking in the procession was a man who looked exactly like the witness on the stand. How could the same person be both buried and walking free? Lena looked up and asked slowly, Mr. Price, where were you that day? The man didn't answer. His eyes hardened. He was hiding something. Rosenthal stood. He doesn't have to answer that. But the jury was already leaning in. Minds were shifting. Lena turned back to her seat, murmuring, the dead may stay silent, but cameras never do. Everyone in that room felt it. The truth was on its way. Sometimes, to know who a man truly is, you don't have to dig up his grave. You just have to hear his voice. When Lena returned to the courtroom, someone was walking behind her like a shadow, an elderly black man in a black hoodie, leaning heavily on a cane. His eyes scanned the jury, filled with tears. A thick silence blanketed the room. Judge Heller frowned. Who is this now? Lena led the man to the stand. Your Honor, this man is the real Nathaniel Price. He spent the last 5 years in a monastery receiving treatment. He was never entered into the official system. He suffered severe memory loss. The man seated at the witness box, who had claimed to be Nathaniel, stood up, his eyes wide in shock. Prosecutor Rosenthal leapt to his feet. This is a setup, a trick, fraudulent. Lena held up a USB drive. This contains a voice recording from 5 years ago. The real Nathaniel's voice. It's been analyzed and compared. It does not match the man currently seated in the witness stand. The court technician played the audio. I don't remember my name, but someone told me, from now on, you're Price. Gasps filled the courtroom. The jury was stunned. The imposter bowed his head, finally speaking. I was there that day, but not at the funeral. I was in the back seat, watching him. I had no other way to survive. Judge Heller banged his gavel. This court rules that charges of identity theft, falsification of death records, and insurance fraud will be formally pursued. Lena exhaled slowly. The elderly man closed his eyes. Quietly, he said, I remember now. I didn't die, but I did disappear. And in that moment, everyone realized this case was never just about a death certificate. It was about reclaiming a stolen life.